Hello. So now we are on the Git basics of the Odin project course. Okay, so in this tutorial, we're going to learn how to use Git commands to work on our project and then upload it onto GitHub. Okay, and then that is called the basic. That is called the Git workflow. Okay, so we are just doing the basics. Okay, and then these are the commands that we'll be using very often. So by the end of this tutorial video, we'll be able to create a repository on GitHub, how to get files to and from GitHub, and then how to take snapshots of your code. Okay. So before we start, we need to do a few things first. Okay. So we have to create or set up our default branch. Okay. So take it as the default branch is the branches of your git code or like your repository refers to various copies of your code. Okay, so let's say you might be working on a project called meals to go, right? Maybe it's an application that helps people to order food, right? And then you are giving your code to someone, or like you are giving access to your code for people to work on or probably improve it for you. So for that, you don't want to let them make changes onto your main code, right? So you would rather create a branch for them. A branch is like a duplicate of your code, right? Okay. So now we need to set up the default Git branch, meaning whatever code that you'll be writing or be publishing to GitHub, you want to put it onto the main branch or the default branch. So we just copy this and then paste it into our CMD, and then that's it. Okay. Yeah. So next we have to learn how to create a repository. So the first step is to just create your GitHub account, which I believe you have already. And then when it opens, just go to okay here. It depends on how yours will look like, but it's very similar. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Let me just go to dashboard. Okay, let me open it. And then okay, so you have the plus sign here, and then just tap on create new repository. Okay, so it will ask you for the repository name, and right now in the tutorial they're asking us to name it git test. Okay, so let's see git test, right? And then when you scroll down, we are going to add a readme file. A readme like a readme is like a description of your project. Okay, so that whenever anyone visits your projects, the person will be able to understand what they are. Okay, so when you're done, just tap on click repository, right? And then right now we've created a new repository. Okay, so this is where we can find our files and everything. So at the meantime, here is our readme, and then this is the content of the readme. Okay, now when I open it, we can go to we can find the files here. Okay, so the this is like the repository. Open the repository. So let's say when you go back to your profile and then you go to repositories, you find out that this is the repository. So let's say a folder for your code. Now when you open it, you find the files here. So right now we added just the readme file, and then this is the file, right? When you tap on it, this is like the content of the file. Okay, now let's go back to the Odin project. So it says this will direct us to the new repository. Okay, and now we are going to copy or clone this repository onto our local machine. You see, when you created the folder or the repository, we did it on the web. Now we need a way to put it onto our PC. Okay, so now we are going to access it by using the by copying the SSH key. Okay, so with this, we're just going to wait. Okay, so it says go to code and then clone. All right, so where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, so I opened the file. Right now we are in the readme file, but we have to go to the code. So just tap on code over here, and now we tap on this, and then go to SSH, and then copy this. Okay, all right. So after we have that, you're going to use the command line to create a new directory for our Odin project. Okay, so it says you create a new directory called repos with the make dir command in your home folder. Okay, so we can do something like make directory, let's say repos. Right now we can cd or change directory to repos. Right now we are in the repos side. Okay, now we are going to clone it. Okay, so this is like another command we are going to be working with, the git clone. Okay, so this basically helps you to copy a file on your git account, or like a repository on a git account. So just type git clone, and then you paste the SSH link that you copied. Okay, and now we have git cloning onto test. So it says the key is not known by any other name, so you want to continue connecting. Let me just choose yes. All right, so now we have everything here. Probably yours might not, you might not have to do this next step as I did, but it's still fine. Okay, now we've been able to clone our git repo. Okay, so if we cd into the git test, it will work. Okay, so let's say you've successfully connected to the repository on requested on GitHub. To test this, you can cd to the git test folder. Okay, or you can just do dir, and then you see that we have the git test over here. But don't let it confuse you. You can just do cd git test, and now we are in the git test folder. Okay, so we've tested this, right? Now we have to use this. Okay, git remote v on the command line, and then it says this will display the URL of the repository created on GitHub, which is remote for your local copy. Okay, so this is just giving us the link again, right? So git remote v. Okay, now we have the same link, right? All right. So it said you may have noticed the word origin at the start of the git remote output, which is the name of your remote connection. The name origin is both the default and the convention for the remote repository, but it could have just as easily been named Party Parrot or Dancing Banana. Don't worry about the details, right? So they're saying that this origin indicates that this is like the source of the code, right? And then they said it could have been named any other way, but we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so we are going to use a git workflow, or like the sample codes we'll be using to push or like upload or download some of the files. Okay, so it said create a new file in a git folder called hello world.txt with the command touch hello world. Okay, so this is like a command or a keyword that you have to know. Touch hello world.txt. Okay, so we cannot use touch in 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 Windows, right? They are using the Linux. Let me check the command. How to create file in CMD Windows. Okay, so you see the way I'm using it, right? So when you face some errors, you just have to follow such keywords. Okay, all right. So to create a file, which will first okay, so we can use fsutil. So fsutil hello world hello world.txt. Okay, all right, I think I made a mistake. Give me a moment to research. All right, so this is the command that we are going to use. Okay, so fsutil file, create new, and then hello world.txt. Okay, now we've created a file. Okay, so you see, this is like the structure of the command fsutil file, create new, and then the file name is here txt. Okay, let me see. dir. Okay, I think I made a mistake. So fsutil, and then you add 0, right? Okay, so here is a command. Don't forget to add your 0 at the end. Okay, otherwise it won't come. We just get what we got here initially, right? I hope you let me just write the code here for you. So it is fsutil file, create new, and then the file name .txt or something, and then your 0 keyword. So this is like the command that you'll be using to create new files. Okay, inside your repository, right, in the cmd. Okay, let's continue. So right now we've been able to create the file. So when you use dir, we get the hello world.txt over here, right? Okay, so let's see. It says when we type get status in our terminal, in the output, we have to notice that the hello world is shown in red. So get status, right? So this is in red. This means that the file has not been staged. Okay, so let's say you've made progress on your code, right? You want to set it aside. That maybe this current version is like I've made progress on this current version, so it set it aside. Okay, so that is part of a two-step process to actually upload our code to the cloud. Okay, so first you just say set it aside, or like that is when you are going to use that is like what is called the staging. Okay, yeah. So let's read what they said. They said the command adds to your hello world file text to the staging area in Git. The staging area is part of the two-step process for making a commit in Git. Think of the staging area as a waiting room for your changes until you commit them. Okay, now let's see. It says we have to do this git add hello world. Okay, so this is the command that will send our current code to, or our current files to this to the staging area. So git add hello world.txt. Okay, now let's do the git status again, and now we see that the file has now changed to green. Okay, right, so it's now in the staging area. Now we are going to commit our code. Okay, so this is a way of actually adding our code online or to our online repository. Okay, so just do git commit let's see, add hello world. Okay, so whatever you're putting inside the codes are the message. Okay, the message we are going to add to the commit. Okay, now we've been able to do it. Now let's do the get status again. Okay, now you see we don't have the file here, right? So it says your file is ahead of origin main by one commit. It says nothing to commit, working tree clean, right? Meaning we have actually saved our changes, or we have put it away from the staging area. Okay, so it says your message, your branch is ahead of origin main by one commit, just means that now you have newer snapshots than what is on your remote repository. You will be uploading your snapshots further in this lesson. Okay, now we have actually put aside what we'll be publishing online. Okay, and then it is yet to us to like update it, but let's see. So it says type git log. Okay, so it says you see an entry for add hello world test commit. You also see details on the author who made the commit and everything. So it says we where is it? This is it. Okay, so in the first place, the author or I, right, with this email, we added the hello world.txt. Okay, like this is the most recent one, and then this is what came on when we created the repository in the first place. Okay, so we've basically done two things. This I did it 1:08 p.m. and then this is 1:20 p.m. right? So this is like the log or the various things you've done, right? Okay, so let's see. Now you're going to modify a file. Okay, so it says open readme.md in your text editor of your choice. In this example, you're going to open the directory in Studio Code. So if you have Studio Code installed, just type code here and then it will open. Oh, I don't know why it's not. Let me type code. All right. So remember, I use this instead, right? Because the first code I use, it's open the Studio Code without navigating to the folder, but you could have just use code.ok to open it. So yeah, the code is here, code.ok. Yeah. Now we have the git test here, and then you see we have the hello world.txt and then the readme over here, right? So it said add hello Odin to line 3 of readme. Something like hello Odin, right? Okay, and then we should save it, Control S, and then it says go back to our terminal. If you are using VS Code, just type, you can just use the open built-in terminal by using Control backslash backtick, but you can just right click here, you can just right, okay, you can just, oh my screen, terminal, right, new terminal. Okay, so that you can have your terminal below here, right? But mine is not in the git test folder now, but I can just do that. Okay, now let's do get status again. And then we have modified readme. Okay, so in our first, let's look at what we had previously. So it was just the red test, right? And then this one is a new file, right? But now we are just modifying the readme file, right? That's why we have a different color there. Okay, now we just have to do the command again, which is git add readme.md. Okay, now we've added it to the staging area. Now let's see get status. Right now we've stages, that's why the color is now green. Okay, so it said open hello world, add some text to it, save it and everything, but yeah, we are just going to add, let's see, this is our project, right? Now we are just going to skip the steps here, and you're just going to commit the code again, so you can just copy it, everything, right? Paste, and then that's it. Okay, now when we use the git log again, we'll get all the things that we did, right? But let's skip it. Okay, so now the final thing we're going to do is to push our work to GitHub. So right now every change that we've made is on our device or it's on our PCs. Okay, so we just need to give some time. Okay, so it says you just need to use git push. Okay, so over here my terminal is making some errors, but I can just open a new one. Okay, so git push, sorry, git push, and now it says git is not repository in of a parent. Okay, so when you look at the path, you see I'm not in the git test any longer. So let's see the git test and now git push. Okay, now we've actually uploaded our code and everything to our cloud. Okay, so if we go to our GitHub account, let's see over here, right? And when you go back to when we even refresh our page, see we have the files here, right? Hello world txt and then readme over here. Okay, so you see all the text that we did was inside this. Okay, so let's see, even for this, the readme, you see we have the old hello Odin here. Yeah, so that's how it is. Yeah, so after that you can just go through the cheat sheet and then you'll be fine.